Hey there, everyone. Dave Barlow here with the gang from Sell for 1%. I almost forgot who I worked with. And Rich Ciccone. Am I getting it close?
You're doing really good, Dave. You really are.
I was
really
told it's Chair Cone E.
Yeah. Well, when you have a name like that, you just answer to anything. That's not like Barlow, everybody can pronounce that. So, basically, you grow up just knowing you just answer to anything. That's me, that's the way it is.
So, I mean, can you recall some of the different pronunciations?
Yeah, usually it's Ciccone. Ciccone is the way people say it usually. Right. I remember one time though, I happened to be dog sitting for my sister, so I stopped over her house, and the phone rang. This is before the days of cell phones, and so her name is Jacqueline. So I picked up the phone just to answer in case it was somebody that I needed to take a message, and it was a telemarketer. And the lady said, she said, "Is Jacqueline Percioni available?" Something like that. It was the craziest pronunciation. I didn't even know what she was saying. That was probably the craziest one of all.
Yeah, I can imagine. Of course, now. One question I haven't asked you, when was it your parents, grandparents that came through?
Both sides of my family, my grandparents on both sides were
so when
Italian
they came
immigrants.
Through Ellis Island, is Ciccone is it spelled correctly, or did they change the last name?
I believe it's spelled correctly, yes.
Okay.
As far as I know, yeah. I probably could look that up. I know we've got the records. I haven't looked at it for a while, but I believe it's spelled correctly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I know that my wife's grandparents or great-grandparents, they changed it to Rigo from, and I'm gonna mess this up and get yelled at too. Jason, what was their the name? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't think it was Rigo that got changed. I forget which one it was.
I think it was like Aruga or Riga or something like that.
It was Araca.
Araca, and they changed it to Rigo.
I was thinking, Dave, with a name like Barlow, all we have to do is take the W off, and it's Barlo. You end in a vowel, and you sound Italian, and then pretty much we can graft you right in at that point. You're married an Italian, and your name ends in a vowel. We just need to change your name. Just drop one letter off.
My wife says all the time, there's only two types of people. There's Italians and those who want to be Italian. So
we can make you Italian. Just take the W off the end.
Honorary.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, let's talk about interest rates. Lots of activity out there. Things going on, craziness in the world. And the man to talk about it is Rich Ciccone. And Rich, what's going on out there? Where are rates at right now?
Rates are on the conforming loan are in the mid sixes. And again, as I've said before, loan to value and credit scores, depending on that, we can go up or down a little bit from there. So mid sixes. We really have had a very quiet few days since last week when the Fed raised rates a quarter, and we talked about that last week. And their guidance seemed to indicate that there was not going to be a lot more tightening in the future. So we've kind of had a wait and see. We haven't really seen a whole lot of activity since then. Now the big number on the horizon is the jobless claims number, or not the jobless claim, but the unemployment number on Friday of next week. So that's going to be a market mover at that point. And nobody knows what that number is going to look like. We've had layoffs. Some of these big tech companies have laid off thousands of people, but we still seem to hang in there with a healthy job creation number. So that is the probably the next milestone that will move rates one way or another. We've had a very, like I said, very quiet week over the last 4 or 5 days of doing business.
Well, that's always a good thing when government has a quiet week, then things get to kind of settle in a little bit.
Yeah.
And so between now and next week, all things kind of remaining the same, do you think interest rates will continue to kind of drift a little lower?
You know, I think, you know, we're dependent on the news, and I think they're going to stay right in this range if everything stays the same. But if we get another bank failure, if we get any kind of news like that is disturbing, or any kind of news that sounds inflationary, then we could see a movement one way or the other. But my anticipation is that we're going to kind of hang in here and see what the jobless number is next week.
So hang around 6.5% thereabouts.
Yeah. And FHA rates are a little bit lower than that, low sixes. They always tend to be a little bit lower than the conventional.
But then you end up paying the PMI, which brings it back up.
Correct.
So
yeah, you pay. Yeah, with FHA, you pay PMI for 30 years. You never drop PMI unless you put more than 10% down. But if you're putting a minimum down payment with FHA, you're paying PMI for 30 years. And then additionally with PMI, you have an upfront PMI or mortgage. It's not really called PMI with FHA. It's called mortgage insurance.
Right.
But you pay an upfront mortgage insurance as well with an FHA loan. So there's a little more cost built into it, but you get a little better rate, and so it kind of evens itself out to some extent.
All right. What's going on over there, G?
Running things around. This Microsoft Surface Book can handle me.
Oh boy. It's like, I thought maybe you fell asleep there.
Flabbergasted at this news of rates calming down.
Flabbergasted. All right. Anything else happening out there, Rich, with the interest rates that you think might impact us one way or the other?
I don't have any big news to report, Dave. As we said earlier in our conversation before we started recording, I'm just coming out of my Florida
fog
vacation, and I'm still in somewhat of a fog, and we've got grandkids in the background. So if I have any big news to report, I'll definitely get back with you. But it seems like we're kind of in a homeostasis situation right now until we see what happens next week.
All right. Well, welcome back. I mean, today's a beautiful day. Nice and crisp this morning, and big blue skies. So you brought nice weather back with you. Thank you.
Do my best. You're welcome.
All right. Well, Rich's information is here on the screen. If you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, thinking about buying a home, building a home, you're even doing some commercial stuff now. So all of your lending needs all in one place with Rich Ciarconi. Thanks again, Rich.
You're welcome, Dave. Thank you.
Bye-bye.